President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Nigerian counterpart, Muhammadu Buhari, are hoping to strengthen ties between the two countries after recent xenophobic violence. Ramaphosa is hosting Buhari in Pretoria on a 3-day state visit. The two presidents have condemned the recent violence.
In the course of our discussions and through various high-level engagements, we have had an opportunity to reflect on the number of issues, but more especially on the public violence that took place in South Africa a few weeks ago. As the government of South Africa, we have expressed our deep regret at the events of the past few weeks that manifested themselves through attacks that were directed at foreign nationals, and our condemnation of all forms of intolerance and acts of violence remains very, very firm. We are committed to addressing the genuine concerns of our people on issues such as poverty, unemployment, crime, drugs, and migration. We are equally committed to upholding the rule of law and ensuring that all those involved in criminal activities, regardless of their nationality, are prosecuted.
We have condemned in the strongest terms attacks against Nigerians and other African nationals living in South Africa, the looting of their shops and businesses and burning of their properties. We call for the strengthening and implementation of all the necessary measures to prevent the reoccurrence of such action, which threatens to undermine not only our strong bilateral relations, but also what we stand for in the context of our vision for a strong and prosperous Africa we want. We also condemn the very few incidents of retaliatory attacks on South African businesses in Nigeria. I am happy to report that we took strong and decisive measures to stop the attacks and prevent any reoccurrence.
Now, ENCA's Kailihle Khumalo has been talking to Nigerians about their president's visit. He did so in the Sunnyside suburb of Pretoria.
I'm very sure that for the President of Nigeria coming to South Africa to visit South Africa on this issue, I believe it will be resolved. Had he been, he refused coming, then I can say that we Nigerians need to go back home, because it's like there is no reconciliation between South Africa and Nigeria. But for this agreement between the South African president and Nigerian president to come together to discuss about this problem, I know the xenophobic problem will not be in existence anymore. Things work accordingly, and I believe the life we are living as a Nigerian in this country will be a good life. No more the way people think it was, because it was out of understanding. If you don't understand the situation of things, then you can accuse a person for the right thing he's doing in the other way around, as if he's doing wrong. But if you understand that person particularly and go deeply to understand what that person is doing, that is when you can know that this person is doing right thing, not doing the wrong thing.
Actually, I'm a Biafran. Biafran inside Nigeria, which is we are fighting for our freedom to go out of Nigeria. We are not happy to live in South Africa all over the world. All IPOP are all over the world. Yeah, means that we need to go back to Biafra land. That's what I have to say.
And what can President Buhari do to make your situation better? We know in the 60s there was a war in the Biafra region. So what can he do now?
The best thing is that to send us back to Biafra land and tell our leader Nnamdi Kanu and negotiate with him, so that we Biafra we go back to our country.
So it's a mixed bag of reactions, really. Others, they're talking about domestic issues facing Nigeria, like the Biafra region. Like when you go back to the 60s, there was that war in Nigeria. So now there's a bit of resentment that the Nigerian government, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has not really resolved that issue. So others, they're talking about more pressing domestic issues as opposed to economic issues between South Africa and Nigeria. So they're hoping that President Buhari will be able to address some of the most pressing domestic issues.